Okay. Hi, I am Emily with Two Days, and today I am joined by Alexia Lozano. She played shortstop and stolen base at Menlo College. And then today we're just going to be talking about her experiences, the isolation, the verbal abuse, the fear, things that she's received from coaches and teammates. And this interview is not just to tell her story, but rather kind of offering a guide or a warning for future athletes who have maybe going in this similar path and direction in ways that Alexia has gone out of it and maybe can share that with others. All right, so first question. Looking back, what's one thing you wish you had known before you committed to Menlo? I mean, this could be something about the program, the coaching style, or just like the overall experience you were not prepared for.
One thing that I wish I had known going into is that the field was not our field. So that would have led me to believe, okay, this is red flag number one. It was a high school field. And then number two, I wish that the girls were more honest about how they were treated, because the year before I came in, it had been worse than my first year. So I wish a lot more college athletes were honest when there's a recruit on campus, because it'd help a lot, and it would definitely reduce the amount of athletes that do struggle with depression and stuff, especially their freshman year.
Hmm. Oh yeah. So before everything even happened, what were you most excited about when you first joined the team? I mean, every athlete has a dream of being committed. So like, what did you picture yours looking like?
So I play with a mask on, and we went from NAIA to D2, and I knew that we were going to go D2 my sophomore year. So I was really excited to be a shortstop playing with a mask, and I was really looking forward to try and encourage younger girls to wear face masks. I know that it's looked down upon. Like, oh my gosh, you're scared of the ball. No, there's a lot of accidents that happen in softball, whether you have good hands or not. It's still going to happen. That's just how the game works. And I really wanted to be one of those people to encourage more girls to wear masks, especially as a middle infielder. I think that's very important.
Hmm. Yeah, I mean, like I was looking at the TikTok story that you posted sharing about your own experiences and that you talked about how like they kind of made fun of the mask. Like that was just something that like it was just kind of like why make fun of something that you just wanted
What
to.
was weird about it was, so Menlo reached out to me 3 times. They recruited me 3 times. And she saw me play with the mask on both times, like all 3 times. So it made no sense to me why she had even asked me if I was going to continue to play with the mask on if she recruited me while I was playing with my mask. It just seemed it was just odd. And it was even weirder that they laughed about it in my face. I was like,
Mhm.
okay.
Yeah, I mean that was just one of the many examples, right? So like even when your coach told you that like you suck and then said that you could be an All-American, how did you even begin to process that emotionally? I mean that kind of contradiction of bit confusing and damaging. So how did that really just impact you and your confidence, your mental state? Like,
I, from that point on, so they had told me in a private meeting I had with them, um, that I could be an All American. And then later in the season, there was a game where I did good, but we still ended up losing. And then we're circled up during our break, and I'm told that I suck straight to my face. But it wasn't my fault that we had lost anyway, so I was very confused. And hearing her say that, knowing that I had the idea that they believed or said to me to my face that I could be an All-American really just shook me. I don't know why it why it affected me so bad. I think it's just because they said that made me believe that they had so much confidence in me. And then all of a sudden they're saying that I suck and like I'm given a shot and I don't even prove myself when I had. So when she said that right after, I just started crying. Like I lost it. I started crying. My teammates were trying to help me. A couple of them were. I had even gone to a couple teammates about it, asking like what I should do and if I should meet with the coaches. And they said, "You're looking at it the wrong way. Look at it from this way." But it made no sense to look at it from the way they were trying to explain it to me because they were still verbally abusing me.
Mhm.
So why would I try to look at it from that perspective if it's still going on, nothing's changing, and I still feel this way? It just made no sense. Some of the girls were just in a blur. It was insane.
Yeah, I mean, even when you said that you had to run the 25 sprints and between the game and do 100 burpees in front of the other team and your family, like that public punishment just sounded so brutal. So, like, did it feel more like discipline or humiliation? Like, how during that time?
It At that point it definitely felt like humiliation because it wasn't the first time that we had done sprints. A couple there were a lot of games that season where during our break we would run sprints in front of the other team while they were sitting down relaxing before our second game or even after the games. There were even some days where we wouldn't eat after our double headers because we would lose and they would say that eating was for winners.
Wow.
Yes, so there were some days where we would go back to the hotel or even back to school and we wouldn't have anything in our system. We would have to order food, or they would say we had to go eat in the calf. But then we would get there like 30 minutes or so before the calf would close.
That's just crazy.
Yeah.
I mean, like even when your coaches said that you were cocky and needed to put in your place, what did they mean? Like, what did you and how did that label follow you? I mean, you did mention how you were, a shy and quiet kid. So why did they think they saw that? Like, why did they say that about you? If that's how you were.
I honestly don't know. Maybe because that's how they are. Maybe they thought, like, oh, I'm quiet. I think I'm better than everyone else. Like, I don't need to talk to anybody. I don't need to ask anybody for help. Like, I think I'm better than you. I don't need your help. Which I didn't understand. And the funny part about it was that because the coaches thought that, and mind you, the coaches would talk to other girls about girls on the team. So there was a lot of stuff like that. So because of that, the a majority of the team did not like me for the longest time because they also thought that I was cocky and rude when which I didn't understand because I was still respectful. I would acknowledge them. I was just to myself. So it honestly made no sense to me. And when they told me that, I like my heart kind of like dropped. My stomach dropped just because I've never heard anybody say that about me. I don't even think highly of myself. I went into my freshman year. Um, I had just gained confidence because I came back from a travel ball team who really helped with my self esteem, my playing, all that. So I didn't come in with a lot of confidence. And then once they had told me that, that was just like, wow, I just barely started getting confident in myself. And then all of a sudden, people see me as cocky when I'm still just to myself. It made no sense to me, honestly. I was very confused.
Yeah, like how did the team dynamic change when the coaches started signaling you out in that way? Like, did teammates try to help you? Were they mostly just like standoffish? Like how, especially that time? I mean,
Yeah. Well, it was very different compared, like my freshman year and my sophomore year was very different. So my freshman year, not a lot of the girls would help, and the coaches, I even mentioned it to my coaches about stuff like that, and they basically told me in that meeting to change who I am. So I had to force myself to be an extrovert and actually go out of my comfort zone and talk to the girls. And I mean, it was worth it going into my sophomore year, but that's when everything just clicked like, oh my gosh, you guys aren't my friends. You guys actually just don't care about me, because I had gotten a concussion and I came back from my concussion, and I don't know what happened. I My coach thought I was giving attitude, but I wasn't. I was still acknowledging her. She even pulled me aside and asked me, "What's with your attitude today?" And I said, "I don't have an attitude." She goes, "Yes, you do. Like, I see it on your." I was like, "No, I don't. Like, I promise you, I don't." And it was just that. And I don't know. I honestly don't know what I did to the girls for them to even start singling me out. Like, they just stopped talking to me. I don't know what it was. I don't know if the coaches, or yeah, the coaches. So on my TikTok, you see that slide where I didn't travel, right?
Mhm.
So, mind you, I was a starter before my concussion and after my concussion. So it made no sense to me why I didn't travel, because I was legitimately a starter.
Right.
And on that slide, you can see that the coaches said that the people who are left behind are selfish and only care about themselves. So the girls, because they were so scared of these coaches, they believed everything they were saying and just took it in. So I think that's what played into them singling me out, because after that trip, that's when nobody was talking to me at all besides the couple of friends that I made.
Mm.
And it was it was really bad. It honestly broke my heart, like, to know that the girls actually believed them, were that scared of them to even try and talk to me in front of them. Even so, the head coach was a woman. There were three other coaches who were men. I was close with her fiance, who was a coach, or husband now. I don't know what they are anymore, but we would make jokes all the time, and then all of a sudden he just would not talk to me. And there was a practice where I made a good play, and he I walked straight past him back to my spot, and then he literally whispered, "Good play, Lex." Like, he didn't want anybody else to hear it. And I was like, "What? You're a coach. Like, I
Wow.
don't understand why you're acting like that. Is it because you're scared of your wife? Like, you're scared she's gonna hear you say something to me?" It was crazy.
Yeah,
Just a
that's an
sad.
uncomfortable dynamic for sure.
Mm-hmm.
But like talking about the teammates and the girls on the team, like what was it like being excluded? Because you also mentioned how in the TikToks they had like group chats and you weren't in them, like even captains and leaders being in that too. Like being cut off of that kind of communication must be very isolating, as you mentioned. So how did that affect your sense of belonging, especially in a team with every girls and all that?
Yeah. Well, so I cried about it. I cried about it a lot. And anytime I went to practice after that, or if I was near any of the girls in classes, because I had a couple of them in classes, like my stomach would just be like in my throat. Like everything was just up here. I felt like I was going to throw up being around them. I felt like I was going to start crying because I just didn't understand why I was being isolated like that. Me and the four other girls, because we had done nothing to the team for them to treat us like that. And what made it even worse was that our big idea for the season and our main goal was to be a family, like be together, be one. And it was just like 5 punches to the face, 10 punches to the gut when I found out they made a group chat without us. Like it genuinely just broke my heart. And I hated feeling the way I did anytime I was around them.
Did the coaches like know, or was it?
Yeah, I'm 100. Okay, not 100. I'm at least 97% sure that they did because the girls made so that coach ended up resigning, and because of that, the girls made like a picture frame of each coach or I think it was each coach. I don't remember. And excuse me, all the girls in the group chat signed it, but the four other girls, including me, left out. So I'm pretty sure the coaches knew. And there was also at the banquet that they said they weren't going to go to. They ended up going because they had to. Um, the entire team took a picture with our coach without me in the picture and four other girls. And they didn't even try to invite us in. They just took it. Even the guy taking the picture was confused. He was like, because he knew that we were on the softball team.
Mhm.
That was the most awkward and embarrassing situation to be in because it's like, there's people seeing it. How are you guys not embarrassed? How do you guys not see what's wrong with this? Like,
Mhm.
it was crazy.
Yeah. Like there's just so many things in the TikTok that just really were like what, like even when you had the concussion, like what was it like being in that room, like left alone in that hotel room? I mean, the hours without a check-in, like the kind of neglect can be just very frightening, especially when you're injured. So like what went through your head even during that too? Because you were alone, everybody was out. Like
I was scared. It was very scary because this was also my first ever concussion.
Mm.
And I would call my boyfriend at least every hour, every other hour, and I'd be like, "Hey, I really need somebody to talk to right now. I can't be alone." Like I would literally have many panic attacks in the hotel room because my head would be spinning and there was no one there to help me. There was this one time where I had woken up from a nap, and I think it's called vertigo. Is that when you're like laying or standing still in the room spinning or something like that? So I woke up and I looked up at the ceiling. The room was just going round and round and round. I was so scared. I called the athletic trainer who wasn't even we didn't even have a trainer with us. Yes. So I had to call him and I was like, gee, I don't know what to do. What do I do? There's nobody here to help me. They're gone. And he said, it's okay. It's okay. Just try and get yourself outside. I had to walk downstairs and lay outside by the pool by myself. And then I didn't pass out, but I fell asleep at the pool for an hour. And then I was fine. Had to walk myself back up and nobody was back yet. It was very traumatizing overall. And the fact that like I had to wait to get food was even worse. And I was so scared to DoorDash myself food because our coach so we're given a certain budget when we're ordering meals and she says, "Oh, you guys can buy something on your own with your own money." But that's very rare that she says that. And even if you were to buy something with your own money, you're looked at a certain way by the girls on the team, especially by the captains. So I was scared to DoorDash myself food and that she was going to be like, "Who said you could DoorDash yourself food? That's not allowed. Like, that's not fair to the other girls that you were able to order pho, but they had to eat this because they had a certain budget." Like, I don't know. I was just so scared. I was
Yeah.
scared.
That kind of hyper awareness and fear just shows like how deep that psychological control really went through like the coaches,
And
right?
the
That's
it was with a concussion too that I was still thinking about it was insane to me. Looking back at it now, it was just insane.
yeah. Like so backing up with, wearing the mask, how did that make you feel in front of the team? Like their comments sound very personal through the TikTok. So like did you think they were trying to make an example out of you? Like why knowing, like the coaches knew you wore a mask and so like do you like ponder why did they even make fun?
What was the hardest part about them making fun of me with the mask is that they would also do it during practices. There would be some drills where we would be doing and I wouldn't wear a mask just so I can like see the ball better and give myself an excuse to turn my face and then have no excuse when I have a mask on. So we would be doing drills, and then the coach would tell another girl who would turn her face during the drill, "Oh, go get a mask. Go get a mask." Like, yes. And I would just stand there and I'd be like, "Okay, I'll go get my mask." Like, what the heck? It it and the girls would always just laugh and it was like I don't understand why it's so funny to any of you, especially because majority of the girls on the team got popped in the face multiple times. So it's like, look at my face compared to your swollen face. Like, come on. Are you seriously going to make fun of me for wanting to protect my facial structure, my teeth, my everything? And it was crazy. It just sucked even more that the girls would also laugh at their jokes, you know?
Yeah.
And the worst part about it is that with my concussion, my mask literally saved me because so it was a throwdown play. The girl dove headfirst. I dove to catch the ball, and she moved her feet up. So as we were going and diving at the same time, her cleat went like barely just went in between my mask and it had nicked me and my head flew back. So without my mask, I would have gotten like a scar right here because she had medals on, but it had tipped the top of it. So it literally saved what how much worse that situation could have been. But it sucks that a lot of people don't see that because they just think, "Oh, she's just wearing a mask. She sucks or whatever." Because I was still continuously made fun of after that for wearing a mask.
Wow. I mean, that's just so wrong and so traumatizing. It just like it makes you what so like what made you want to stay for as long as you did, even the things that were clearly wrong. Every athlete has a breaking point at some point. So what kept you holding on and just it finally made you just stop?
Um, the end of my freshman season really made me want to come back. I That was when I developed a little bit of a stronger relationship with some of the girls, and I I shouldn't have, but I gave the coach like a break. I was like, you know what? We were her first recruiting class. Like, this is new to her. She's a people too. She's still learning. So I'm just gonna give her like a little bit of a break off of this. Hopefully next year will be better. And I also mentioned in the TikTok that she pulled us aside and told us that it would get better next year. And unfortunately, I believed it. So came back sophomore season was just crazy all around. It was a hot mess. There's so many more things that happened that weren't in that TikTok, but it wasn't I was not about to make a over 30 slide TikTok over something like this. But yeah, I think my breaking point was definitely that that game that I didn't travel, like our last away series where I didn't travel. I was like, wow, I gave you some like space. I gave you like a little break and you're being petty over something that didn't even happen. That's childish. I like that was when I knew this is not right for me. And another reason why I also stayed was because I knew we were going D2 and the D2 transfer portal is way easier than NAIA. It's not that big of a process. So I just told myself, okay, if this year is not any better, I'm just going to transfer out of here. And that is what ended up happening.
Did anyone in Menlo like try to help you or offer any? Like, I know you said you tried to call the athletic trainer, wasn't really the athletic trainer. So, like, it's important to know the larger system and the scale of things. And, like, they stayed silent if they didn't. Like, did anyone try to reach out to help you, or was it just all on your own?
It was really all on my own. Like a couple, so the four other girls that who were also not in the group chat, they also emailed, like we all did it ourselves. One of them would keep, like she had a whole note on her phone about every little thing that happened, the date, the time, what was said, what punishments were given. It was, she had all that written down. And then my mom and I put together everything that happened with me. I still have that document. And two other girls were emailing the athletic director, the president of Menlo. And it was insane because my mom emailed the athletic director before I did, and he didn't get back to her until she emailed the president of Menlo College, which was absolutely insane to me. I don't understand how you could be an athletic director and ignore the abuse that was said in that email, and you're only answering now because your boss told you to, but he read it. It made no sense to me.
Yeah. Like, even you mentioned how the other girls on the team told you if they'd have this happen to you, they'd leave, right? And but they still ignored you. So, like, that kind of betrayal and the pain of the abuse, like, did it change how you view friendships within sports itself?
Definitely, it definitely did. It made me go back to, because I really opened myself up and I became somebody I never thought I would become. But like, I don't regret it at all. I'm way more open now with people. I'm opening to meeting new people. But that whole situation really just made me rebuild that wall that I used to have. Not only did it rebuild it, but it made it even like bigger than what it was before, which it just makes me sad because I don't understand how so many people could claim to be my friend and on my side, but then continue to ignore me and not talk to me just because of how scared. Like, I don't blame them. They were scared of the coaches, which is understandable. But it's like they wouldn't even talk to me outside of softball, and I was so confused.
Yeah. It's just so horrible that you have to deal with those kind of things. I mean, like what messages would you have for future Menlo players who might be facing, similar treatment but are afraid to speak up? Your experiences, they're very encouraging to try to tell people what if you see it, try to step back and reassess. But like, what advice would you give?
The advice I would give is to just really be honest with yourself, because I continuously lied to myself the entire but for both years. Like, oh, it's going to get better, it's going to get better. If you see that nothing's changing, even behind all the team building things that we would have, even behind all that, and there's nothing changing, and you see it, you really have to just be honest with yourself. Know who you are as a person, and don't change yourself for people who aren't willing to try and get to know you. That was a big thing for me.
Yeah, I mean, like for future recruits, like what red flags should high school recruits look for when they meet a college coach? Like you've lived it, you've done it. I mean, what are the signs that you might tell them to just make sure you're aware of, or maybe future problems they might have?
Mhm. I would say so. Red flag number one is really look at how many times the coach communicates with you and how well they communicate with you. Because our head coach was very distant during the recruiting process. Very, very distant. That should have been red flag number one for me. Red flag number two is see how the players are around the coaches and with each other, and ask honest questions. Ask the hard questions, because they're not going to tell you straight up what these coaches have done to you. You have to ask the hard questions. Third, I'd say go to a team practice and see how the coaches are with each other and how the team is. And then later, after that team practice, ask a girl on the team, is that how they usually are? How do practices really go? Because, in all honesty, the recruiting process is a total just, it's of it's fake. It's honestly so fake. Everyone puts on a show. Anytime we had a recruit come on campus, our coach would always tell us before, oh, act this way, act that way. Like, if anybody says anything wrong, like, we'll know, anything like that. And we were too scared to say the wrong thing. But there was a couple times where I was just like, you know what? This is BS. There's no way I'm going to get treated like this and then lie to somebody else about how it actually is, because I wouldn't want anybody to go through what I went through. It genuinely sucks. And I also think people should really look at how big they want the school to be and if it's for them. Because Menlo's a really small school. So it was really hard to be in the situation that I was in. Mind you, the coach was also a professor. So that made it even a little more awkward to see her around campus after practices and even eat in the cafeteria while we were too. So really just think about how distant you kind of want to be with the field in a sense, if you are in that position, or if you really are focusing on the idea that it's not who you are, it's just something you do. I think the size of the school really matters for that.
Yeah. I mean, your story is so inspirational, really, to many others, but I don't want to take too much of your time. Apparently, I have a few time, like 5 minutes left, so but I really appreciate you. Thank you so much. What are you doing now with yourself now that you're out of that environment and
Right now, I'm taking a break, a year off from softball. I am still going to school. I was uh, a psychology major at Menlo, but that's really because they only had business and psychology, which kind of sucked. So I'm going to start a different education path, criminal justice, at a community college here. And I'm also going to be an assistant coach for a high school, and I'm doing lessons on the side, which is pretty fun. So I'm not too far away from softball, and I am still getting some work in just to keep myself ready in case I do decide to come back after this year. And yeah, we'll see what God has in store.
Amazing. You're amazing. Your story's amazing. I'm so happy for you that, you were away from that and you're making light of the situation. Uh,
Thank you so much. I appreciated this call.
yeah. Well, I hope you have a great rest of your day. And yeah,
Thank you, you too.
bye.
Bye.